Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and how are y'all doing today? So here today on Abby the Witch, I am going to be doing some book reviews actually. The books that I'm going to be reviewing in this video are the 3 books that Jasmyne Ambrosia just came out with. It is her series on witch flight and the other world. I also have an honorable mention at the end by another author. Jasmyne Ambrosia is a witch, author, high priestess of a local coven, and a dear friend of mine. She also has an Instagram and a YouTube. Check her out here. I will either have her channel linked in the description or in the title of this video. Her first book in this series is titled Ambrosia's Book of Witch Flight. So as it suggests in the title, this is all about witch flight or spirit flight. I've actually done a video on witch flight here on my channel. I can link that video in the description. This book is definitely not 101, and it's definitely not a how-to type of book. It does guide you in a way, kind of like on your journey of witch flight, of mastering witch flight, and it does give a lot of inspiration. But this is her UPG. This is based on her experience with witch flight, okay? Like I said, it's not really 101 it's not like a witchcraft 101 type of book. If a beginner came to me, I would not suggest this book to them. You definitely need a foundation in your practice before you pick up witch flight in general, honestly, before you pick up any sort of spirit flight. But this book might be kind of hard to read if you don't have any sort of foundation in your practice. If you're just getting started out, I almost want to do books I recommend or what I would recommend to new witches video. Let me know down below if you would like that. I feel like a lot of my viewers are not beginner witches, but if you are and you would like to see that, let me know. So make sure you have that foundation. Do a little bit of research on witch flights. I would suggest even have a little bit of experience with witch flight itself before you dive into this. That's what I suggest. Like I said, this is UPG. This isn't really how-to. This is inspiration. This is guidance, right? So I would really recommend using this book as such. This book includes info and her UPG on witch fetch, the other world, the 4 kingdoms, the hallowed woods, the 6 virtues of primordial energy, the witch council, and more. I really loved this book. I really enjoyed reading it. It was very refreshing to read an occult book or a witch book, a trad witch book even specifically, that wasn't a how-to or trying to tell you how to do something. It was their UPG. It was really refreshing. And I felt like as I was reading all 3 of these books, honestly, I felt very like seen. I share a lot of experiences, similar experiences. So yeah, it was really cool to read another witch's UPG. I am going to read a prayer that she has. She has some prayers at the very end of this book, and I am going to read one of the prayer to you right now. My pages are all wrinkly, and this book is very, well, it's been used. I've said a prayer or 2 outside in the rain before, so some of these pages are a little damaged from the water. So I'm going to read a prayer to the witch's devil. Our dark Lord, who art in hell, honored and horned be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it has always been. Give us this day the red meal, and bring illness and famine to those who trespass against us. Guide us in our crooked ways, and deliver us from our oppressors. Chthonic dark Lord of the mound, resonate to this sound, for thine is the freedom, the choice, and the consequence forever and ever. Our beloved morning star, O mighty dark Lord, by whom all things are set afire, thy power be thy path, thy will be my desire, and hell as it is on earth. Praise the light bearer, Nima. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I said, I've said this actually at a crossroads to the devil out in the rain before. So it's like all wrinkly and stuff. I love it. So her next book is this big daddy right here. This is Ambrosia's Book of Spirits, or Lesser Liber Spiritus, or the Lesser Book of Spirits. And yes, her next two books, including this one, she took inspiration from the Greater and Lesser Keys of Solomon, if you're wondering. So this book is basically cover to cover, almost 500 pages of different spirits she has encountered in the other world. Some of the spirits in this book already have like established historical folklore. However, some of these spirits are just through her UPG and ones that she has met in the other world via her witch or spirit flight. It's really interesting because other witches, including myself, have shared gnosis with her for some of these spirits. So it's not just her UPG. It's really interesting. I love shared gnosis. It's just like one of the coolest things. Each spirit listed in here has a ton of info that goes with it, as well as different things like its element that it's associated with, the tarot card that it's associated with. All the pictures are full color. So here's one, pots. I just flipped to a random one. And you can see they have all the elements. Okay, zodiac, the virtue, we'll get into that. Yeah, so it's really cool. I refer to this book more as like a reference manual, right? You can read this cover to cover if you want to, absolutely. I did not read it cover to cover. I use it as a reference manual, okay? So I have flipped through this entire book and just picked out a few spirits to kind of work with. And I've definitely referred to this book more than once for different spirits that I maybe want to make pacts with or work with for like a specific working I want to do in my practice. So her last book in this series is Ambrosia's Book of Otherworldly Sorcery, or Greater Liber Spiritus, or the Greater Book of Spirits. So just like the Greater and Lesser Key of Solomon, the Lesser Key is like the list of all the demons, the Legion. Her lesser book is the list of all the spirits of the other world. And the Greater Key of Solomon is all the rituals and things you can do with the demons. And this one is a bunch of sorcery that you can do with the spirits in the other world. This one is probably my favorite out of the three, and it's arguably the most advanced, I would feel like, out of the three. She goes even further in depth about the virtues in this book. So she talks about the virtues of the cardinal directions, right? Each cardinal direction is associated with a virtue, but then there's also the cross quarters, right? So like southeast, northwest, that also has a virtue. So you have the major and the minor virtues. And then in between all of those, it gets even more complex, there are demi-virtues, okay? Each virtue is also associated with a region within the other world, okay? And then in the center of the other world, there is the Hallowed Woods, which is really interesting to talk about the Hallowed Woods because so many witches that I have talked to, including myself, I have experienced this as well, finding themselves in the Hallowed Woods on their witch flights. I have found myself in a woods not even knowing it was the Hallowed Woods before I shared this gnosis with other witches. She also has a virtue crowning ritual in this book, and I really want to do it. I haven't done it yet. Basically, it's a ritual that tells you what two virtues best suit you as a witch. So what are you most naturally gifted with as a witch? The virtues are a little complicated. It's kind of hard to explain. So I'm gonna leave a picture either right here or somewhere in this video to kind of show you what I mean. Not only have I had experience visiting the Hallowed Woods, but I've also had experience visiting another region of the other world called the Gray. The Gray is a very cloudy, fog-filled realm. When I go there, I find myself walking on clouds, basically. It almost feels like I'm just like shrouded in fog. all around me, 360. And I found myself going there a lot before I even had shared gnosis with Jasmine. I told her, I was like, why do I keep going to this place when I'm on my witch flight? She's like, dude, you're going to the gray. That's a region in the other world. I was like, oh. And of course, I also have experience going to the underworld, AKA hell, or in this book, she refers to it as hell mouth, okay? This region of the other world has a cave, an entrance to the infernal realm, okay? So it's not exactly hell itself, but there is an entrance to the infernal realm, which I feel like I've been there too. I've seen a big gate on one of my several of my witch flights. I've walked through a big gate and have entered hell. So yeah. In this book, she also talks more in depth about the Witches' Council and the full moons they're associated with and the times of year they're associated with. That was probably one of my favorite parts about this book. It was just really interesting to hear about them. I also had more shared gnosis with some of the Witch Council, and yeah, it's just really cool to hear more about them. So those are all 3 of Jasmyne's books, her series on Witch Flight and the Other World. I really enjoyed these books, you guys. Like I said, you can find all 3 of these books on Amazon. I will link that down below in the description if you're interested in purchasing any of these books. Okay, last but not least, like I said, do have an honorable mention. This is a book called The Witch of Sycamore Hollow, okay? This just came out very recently. This is also a friend of mine. He goes by the Leo Witch. This is a book of poetry, incantations, all related to Midwest magic, Midwest witchery, okay? If you are a witch that resides in the Midwest region of the United States and you're really into folk magic and tradcraft, you really should get your hands on this book. It's pretty small. It's really nice for travel. So if you're traveling to another part of the Midwest and you want to do magic in that region, it might be really good to bring this with you. Like I said, it's a book of poetry, incantations. At the back, he also has, I thought this was really interesting. Not only does he have different lore and magical properties that are associated with different flora and fauna of the Midwest region, but he also has a list of urban witchery. I thought that was so cool. And like different things you can do at different places, like public parks, magic you can do with graffiti, urban debris, alleyways, indoor hydroponics, that's cool. Abandoned buildings, all kinds of stuff. I just thought it was really cool that he included that. So get your hands on this as well. This is also on Amazon. I can also leave this linked down below in the description. All right, guys, so that is it. Those are all the books I wanted to review in this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have read any of Jasmyne's books, and if you have already or plan to get The Witch of Sycamore Hollow also. I would love to hear. And also let me know if you would love a advice for new witches type of video. I'd be curious to hear if you would be interested in that at all. Or any other subjects that you would like to see here on my channel, okay? So until next time, guys, I hope you stay very well, and don't forget to follow the snake. Bye.